Hiya, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another video today. Today we will be getting a channeled message for the collective. This is a general read. Just going to cleanse out some of these energies. With this smoke, I cleanse this space. I cleanse my energies. With the smoke, I clear this space. We're going to start out with the personality trait type phrases, you guys. This smoke, I cleanse the energy of these cards. I cleanse out any energy of stagnancy, anything old, anything doesn't serve my purpose. Any energy of confusion, any illusions, anything unclear. It's like I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, that smells so good. It smells really, really good, you guys. Oh, I didn't remove the whole thing. So we're going to start out with the personality trait type phrases, you guys. We're going to see what messages Holy Spirit has for us today. Heavenly Father, Holy Spirit, ancestors, guides, I ask you please guide me, protect me, assist me, relay these messages for the collective, for the benefit into mine, please. And thank you for this. Sakura Sailor, Sakura. Subscribe. Okay. Magical Protector. Interesting. This one. Toxic Ways. Sakura Sailor standing out to me. Heartbreaker. Okay. Magical Protectors. Okay. Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father. "16 candles. Coming into your own. Independence Day every day." We have a picture for that one. Messages for the collective. What's the collective need to know? Egotistical. Megalomaniac. God complex. So someone could be or could have recently gained their independence from some egotistical individual here who has toxic ways, perhaps. Okay. Messages for the collective about this. What about this egotistical? What about this independence from this egotistical? Heartbreak Hotel, California. You can check out, but you can never leave. Okay, so someone is stuck in the labyrinth of their own mind, thinking themselves much greater and grander than they really are. So they've got a puffed up version of themselves, this God complex, this megalomaniac individual or energy. They're stuck in a prison of their own making. Okay, thank you. Now this one. Okay, thank you. Messages for the collective about this. What about this Heartbreak Hotel, California? What about this egotistical? I'm not a Heather, I'm a Veronica. So collective, someone does not just go with the crowd. Someone is their own person. Someone is this 16 candles, Independence Day, everyday individual. They'll burn the place to the ground before they kowtow. By force or coercion, nothing you shall get. This sort of energy, okay? But first, let me take a selfie. This is a completely separate energy right here. Someone external to the situation or someone observing. I'm getting someone who is observing is like, oh, but wait first. Let me memorialize this. But first, let me take a selfie. Okay, so someone could be being very selfish, this megalomaniac perhaps, this egotistical God complex person. Maybe they're more interested in how they look than how the situation looks or something like that. That's what I'm getting. But I'm really getting this energy of an observer or someone who's used to observing, but something, I don't know. Okay, it's slipping away. Let's get the picture for the 16 candles here. $13. 16 candles. I said 13 because I numbered this 13 here. So 13, 16 candles, okay? Independence Day every day, coming into your own, a new lease on life. These are the energies. A new lease on life, okay? This egotistical megalomaniac individual likes to stay hidden in the shadows. They think of themselves as a super mega uber mastermind. Okay, they think of themselves this way, right? It's not righteousness, it's self-righteousness. That's the energy with this egotistical. There are plenty of people who would be well described as egotistical, right? Plenty of people. So that's wide and varied as far as energies go. Someone is trying to play God in someone's life collective, perhaps your life. Someone is or was trying to play God in your life. God already laughs at people's plans, so imagine how God laughs at people's plans who are trying to imitate God, or even worse, trying to usurp God as the higher power in your life. Imagine how those individuals will be trampled underfoot. Just imagine. Right? Imagine. Imagine all the people living day to day. You. I'm not a Heather, I'm a Veronica. Okay, so someone is standoffish, okay? Someone is sitting these youthful energies. This is very youthful energy. This is like a teen angst energy. Okay, so an individual or an energy is just coming into its own, or just coming into their own. Someone or something is just waking up. So there's that. Okay, thank you. Someone is in a prison of their own making. Damn that. Someone is not going to submit. So we have 5 wands, Empress, and we have the 4 wands. Okay. 4 wands on the bottom. The 4 again, the 13 and the 4. So we could have 8 could be significant, or 4s. The 4 wands, the 4s are significant. The 4th house. Okay. 2 houses coming together. So these are the 2 very differing energies. As what? Coming together or splitting up. This could be that new lease on life. There could have been, you know, a splitting of a pair, or instead of a union or a reunion, or a marriage or a contractual thing involving some sort of house or property, or some sort of metaphorical house, as in like, you know, your matrilineal line or whatever. It's some sort of split, some sort of division. The family perhaps is split. Now there's a rift. This is giving rift energy. Okay, so there were 2 individuals who were at least on the same page. Now they're not even in the same book. That's the energy I'm getting. So someone could be going through a divorce. Someone could have just settled. This is giving rift. The family could be splitting up, something like that. Or there's a rift in the family. People are choosing sides. Okay, so this doesn't have to be like, you know, blood relation family. This can be a friendship group. This can be some sort of unorthodox group. This can be a group within a church, or this can be a contract, a falling out, or dissolution of a marriage, or something like that, right? Okay. Wait, this isn't the 4, this is the 5. Okay, so there's fighting about this. Yeah, I was getting a lot of the backstory of the 5, I guess. All right, there's fighting, there's conflict. There's been a rift in a family. There's been a rift. There's been a separation. Like I'm saying, there's fighting. There's chaos. There's a rift. That's what I'm getting from this. The 5 of Wands. There's a rift, fighting, chaos. The 4 of Wands here still on the bottom. All right, thank you. Messages about this. Can we get a clarifier for this megalomaniac? Can we get a clarifier for this megalomaniac so the collective will understand more clearly who this represents in their life and their story, or for whoever is watching for entertainment purposes only, you guys. What's up? The Hermit. Collective, you could be this Hermit. You could be a Virgo. You could be alone right now. You could like to work alone. Okay, messages. Can we have a... I don't feel that these megalomaniac energies are the Virgo here. I mean, it could be a Virgo, you know, who's a megalomaniac, whatever, you know. Take it as it resonates, but 2 of Wands. Okay, the megalomaniac is plotting and planning. Can we get a clarifier for the megalomaniac, please? Can we understand this individual who likes to play God? And others' lives. The 5 of Cups. So they fall back on their depression. They puff themselves up to great heights like a big air balloon, and then when they deflate, They go way, way low. So this individual has great highs and great lows as far as mood swings go when we are talking about like disorders. These are the emotional swings this individual. Okay, so this individual is egotistical, God complex, megalomaniac when they're at the top of the disorder emotional swing shift. Okay, and then this individual is in the depths of sadness, in the land of woe when they're at the bottom. They don't spend a lot of time in between. The descent is very quick for this individual. This individual might closet themselves away when they are in the descent or when they are in the depressive state. But someone who has a God complex, who swings to the low that quickly, even though they isolate themselves once upon a time, eventually this individual, this personality type might exhibit something on a grand scale as like, you know, exit strategy type thing. They might want to be grandiose with that because in their mind, in their heart of hearts, they still feel above those who they trample over, which is why this individual will be trampled upon. Or maybe this individual feels that trampling. That's why the low comes in, but that's a spiritual thing anyway. Five of Cups, that's what this egotistical individual is to you collective. There's someone who's depressed. So whoever it is who came to mind, who had those emotional descriptions, like I'm saying. Someone who is either a depressant in your life, someone who is a depressive, someone who exhibits these depressive states, right? Or someone who would be represented by those great swings, even if they don't have some sort of clinical or diagnoses. Right? Okay. Page coins. You could be the child of this person. All right, thank you. Can we get another clarifier? Can we get one for I'm not a Heather, I'm a Veronica? Can we understand this individual? The Hermit. This individual follows their inner guidance. They listen to their own counsel. Collective, this could be you, could be inspector collector. I don't know why every time I want to say collective, it's like almost like collector pops out. I think collector popped out one time. But anyway, collective, this could be you. You could be a Virgo. You could be some sort of investigator, okay? You could be liking to work alone. You could be, some earth sign or sitting in earth sign energies, represented by these Virgo energies, where you are sort of, following your inner guidance. You're in a solitary, intuitive phase. That's what these energies are. So it's either, one or the other here, okay? But this is you, collective. I'm not a Heather, I'm a Veronica. So you don't go with the crowd. You go with your own intuition. You'll follow your own intuition. You'll follow your inner guidance. You'll follow your inner and higher self. Page coins again, okay? You could be gathering evidence. You could have a small bit of evidence. Something is, there's about to be an offer or something in the Four of Cups. A small bit of evidence. All it took was seeing how someone was ungrateful. That was the only bit of evidence that you needed. Okay, we have a lot of, watery Cancerian, Virgo. We have a lot of Four of Cups. Someone is disillusioned. Someone feels that they missed an opportunity. Heartbreak Hotel, California. They're all in their head. They're haunted by some missed opportunity. Collective, someone could be isolating themselves, feeling very sorry for themselves, on the down swing of an emotional state or a depressive state. On the down low, I was about to say on the down low. This individual could be someone who hides their true selves, or this individual could be someone who is ashamed of their own asexuality or something, or they could be in the industry and feel great. Oh Lord, here we go. Someone in the industry feels a lot of feelings about what was done to them over the course of their time in the industry, what they participated in themselves perhaps, and also the things that they allowed, right? Like the things that they bucked for and didn't buck hard enough against, right? So people in the industry, someone in the industry is feeling is either feeling sorry for themselves for reasonable reasons. I mean, it's reasonable. And then there are individuals who are feeling sorry for themselves because they've been caught for doing things, or because, you know, the system that was in place previously that insulated the abuse has fallen away, or is no longer available, or is changing, and they don't do well with that sort of change because their whole life is built upon that one system or whatever. And they've done terrible things to be where they are in that system. And then when the system begins to move with the wheel of fate, and what was once on top is now on the bottom, when the head becomes the feet and the feet become the head, when the one and the other touch, you have a great shift. And this individual or this energy is incapable or unwilling to look at themselves, so they just swing to wild lows because they have enjoyed wild highs. So those are two separate energies. There's one who's either actually a victim and then might be, you know, stuck in the victim mentality and not really growing out of that, and wanting to fall back into the victim mentality and perhaps some self-harm, including depressive lows. And then there's another energy who has experienced the same things and then did terrible things, sold their soul, you know, perpetuated the cycle instead of choosing. Because the only way to not perpetuate a cycle is either to break the chain entirely, which is very difficult, or to self-harm. That's what is most common. That's why people will drink themselves to DEATH, or that's why people will DRUG themselves to DEATH, or into, you know, situations, right? The Knight of Wands inverted, so that right over here on top of the megalomaniac. So yeah, when they're at the high, they're very reckless. When they're at the high part of the depressive swing, or whatever the disorder is, right? When they're at the high point, they're very reckless. They don't have a care for tomorrow. They want to play God in people's lives. They've done terrible things. Controlling, manipulative, narcissistic tendencies. Feels insecure. This individual could have hurt children. This individual could have perpetuated a cycle of ABUSE involving children. They themselves could have been a victim and then perpetuated cycle. That's what I'm saying. There's a great divide between people who are victims and then continue to victimize themselves in perpetuity because they cannot heal from what has been done to them, but they do not continue a cycle of abuse in the same way that their abuser did, or someone who would continue a cycle of abuse that way. And then there are those who do. There are those who, as I have described here, okay? So you take it as it resonates as to who these individuals are that fit into your story as it resonates only, right? Again, this could be something from your childhood. This could be something that has been happening since you were a child. You could be one of these individuals that I'm describing. There could be an individual in your energy who would be well described as I am describing, okay? That is how you will identify these people in the read, alright? Or these energies. Perhaps a lot of it, especially if we're talking about industries, like the entertainment industry, okay? A lot of these energies will be same energy, different phase. Same energy, different location. Same energy, different situation. There's a lot of that. Can we get a clarifier? The Ten of Cups inverted. So this individual either lacks family, that's what I got. This individual lacks family, the megalomaniac. They target families. They want to separate families. They're a killer on the road. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. That's what this energy is giving. When they're at the high, they're the killer on the road. They're very reckless. They don't care whom they trample over. They don't care whom they hurt. They'll lie, they'll cheat, they'll steal, they'll kill to get what they want. And what they want, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's madness at the top. The emotional upswing is madness at the top. So this individual will tear apart families. This individual might target families because of the great disregard for the good things in life, the things that are wholesome. The madness that this individual exhibits at the top when they're not in the depressive state at the bottom. They target individuals or situations or peoples who represent things that they either don't have, so they lash out at those who do, or they represent situations that they cannot attain or that they cannot relate to. And then when they're in their madness at the top of it, they would be in the killer mode. They're the killer on the road. This is what I'm getting here. When they're completely carefree and reckless, they're not, they're not someone that you want to have around your family. They're not someone who is trustworthy. They're not someone who is going to be safe. They're a danger to themselves and the public. They're a danger to vulnerable individuals, especially. Like I said, they will target families, or this is something that manifests itself for them because of the line of work that they're in or something like that. But there's something about families. They target families, or they are without family for the deeds that they have done. And this is something that creeps up when they're in their depressive state, because the Five of Cups upright and the Ten of Cups inverted, they do not have a family to depend on. Their family might have deserted them, or they might have not had family ever. Like they might, whatever their origin story may be, they might think of themselves as some sort of Bruce Wayne character, orphaned.
with lore when they're at their high, but when they're at their low, they're just the sad orphan who's afraid of his own shadow. That's what this energy is. Megalomaniac, God complex. Want to play God in others' lives. Thinking themselves the hero of their own story. Everybody thinks themselves the hero of their own story. But if individuals are targeting or harming themselves or others, especially if they're victimizing or targeting families and children, this is major issue. This is giving serial KILLER vibes. Okay, collective, you could have had a brush with death, or you could know this individual. Queen of Swords inverted. The Black Widow energy. This could be a feminine air sign. This could be a feminine air sign who is this killer on the road individual. Or this individual could have had a very, very harsh upbringing, direct result of the mother. Like I was saying in the beginning about the fourth house, the matrilineal line, there could have been deep ABUSE visited upon this individual by their family, in particular their mother. It's all blue when this individual is considerate of themselves. When this individual is in their emotional state, it's all blue when this individual is thinking of their own past and they have no emotions toward those that they harm. They're completely dead to that. They care only about themselves. They can only feel pain or hurt when it involves themselves and their own story. This person is a megalomaniac. They have those narcissistic tendencies. Okay, they've taken it past the survival point, which they were at one point with this ABUS-ive a parent that they had, probably their mother. At one point, it was a survival mechanism for them to be this narcissistic person. Okay, this has gone past that survival point, like I'm saying, and now they are the killer on the road themselves. So this is identifying this person. Hopefully this is helping you identify this person, collective. I feel like I'm talking to someone who's investigating this. Again, might have something to do with a child or children, or this could be a small bit of evidence that links all of this together. Maybe a small bit of evidence that's just being uncovered, or something. That's very bad energy that come up right there. So somebody could be or could have just uncovered a small BODY in regards to this individual or this energy or this group. If there's a group of KILLERs or serial KILLERs or just one, this is something that might be being unearthed, if you will. Either the knowledge of it, either the BODY itself, and if it is not an energy or an intention or something that is not even available to be unearthed anymore. If it is a tiny body, our prayers go out to that tiny body, that little soul that vacated that tiny body, that came here for the purpose of being discovered. Heavenly Father, Holy Spirit, I'm so grateful for your presence in our lives. I pray for the soul on behalf of the collective and anyone connected to this case. And I pray for the soul of this tiny body who came here for the purpose of being unearthed, I believe, at this point. I don't know what else to say about it. We're done with that? Okay, thank you. This one. Judgment. Someone's under judgment. We're not shuffling. Okay, thank you. Can you get some closing messages for the collective about this, please? Closing messages. 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups inverted. Someone can't walk away from this. This individual might have been able to walk away or get away from situations before, but they're not going to be able to walk away from this. This individual is in a prison of their own making. They find themselves where they find themselves because of their own deeds, because of their own actions, because of their own misdeeds, because of their own evil intentions or their own knowledge of evil deeds. This is not something to be played with. This individual is not going to get away. They're under judgment. They're not going to be able to walk out of this. This individual might not be able to walk. This individual might have some sort of issue or problem with an appendage, a broken leg or something like that. Again, I'm not wishing that on anybody. I'm just reading the energy here, okay? They might not be able to get away from this. They might not be able to walk right now. They might not be able to walk out of this situation, as in like they think they're gonna walk, like you say in court proceedings. Oh, they're just gonna walk. No, they're not gonna walk away from this. The Star. This individual could be in the limelight right now, or this individual could be like the star. There could be a star witness. Someone could be an Aquarius. Collective, you could be the star. It's in the upright and it's in the middle of all this. Okay, so collective, you could have been a victim of this individual, or you could have had a brush with death concerning this group or this individual or this energy. Okay, collective. There could be an Aquarius involved in the group. The individual who would be any of these people I've described, including this inverted Queen of Swords here, could be an Aquarius. This person could be an Aquarius. Okay? Take it as it resonates. Collective, I feel that these are your energies, but you're over here in the middle of it. Like everyone's focused on you. All of this negative energy. They targeted your family. They didn't want you to be able to walk away from this. They wanted you to be in sadness. They didn't appreciate you in the first place. They lied about you. They were emotionally manipulative. The family here being upside down. The family might have been, the whole family might have been involved in targeting you, okay? They might have targeted your family as well, and then later on, more family might have joined in the being a part of the problem and not part of the solution. Even though collective, you were like literally the life source of these individuals. You were the star in the middle of this situation. And what happens when the star leaves the situation? Nothing good happens when the star leaves the situation. When stars burn out or explode, or when stars disappear in the blink of an eye, when stars move, this is something that is there's a lot of reaction around that. There is explosive reaction. There is unimagined reaction. There is a void. There is a vacancy. There is issue every time. It is not some small problem to be band-aided. The loss of a star. Can you imagine, collective, if, here on Earth we woke up and tomorrow and the sun never came up? Can you imagine if the star was just gone? If we just blinked into somewhere else, someplace else, some other time. because that's the energy I'm getting. Like they messed with the wrong one, and they did get, or they will get, the reaction that they do not want to get. They're under judgment. They're in a prison of their own making. Someone is experiencing freedom from whatever toxicity this group represented for you, whatever brush with death this group or this family represented for you, whatever person, place, or people's or energy was trying to play God in your life because you were the star, so they were clinging to you. They were orbiting you. You're the star. That's the energy I'm getting. Okay? Someone's under judgment. Can we have a clarifier for the Independence Day today for the 16 candles? Okay, 16, number 7 might be significant. The 9 of Wands. 79, 97. Okay, the 9 of Wands. Battle hardened. Not going to give up. This is giving that that I'm not Heather, I'm a Veronica energy. You're not going to back down. You put up healthy boundaries to individuals. You chose yourself. You took all these lessons learned. You took it standing up. You made use of a bad situation. Still, there's this energy out here of someone who feels like they missed an opportunity. They're all in their head about missing an opportunity with you. I don't know what kind of opportunity they think they were going to have with you in the middle of all of this. I don't know what part they play in the middle of all this. Someone was ungrateful. Someone missed an opportunity. I don't know if they missed an opportunity to hurt you, they feel like. This could be the individual who can't get away from the situation that they have created, that they are being found guilty for, that they are under judgment for. I don't know if this individual fell into a trap of their own making because they were trying to trap you, the star. They didn't know you would just blink of an eye, poof, you're somewhere else. They didn't know what kind of star you were. They thought they knew you. This is giving that same energy reading from the fan club or cult, from that reading. There's a reading I did called Fan Club or Cult. Okay, judgment. Someone's under judgment out here. Someone tried to steal a family from you. Someone tried to disrupt your familial life. Someone tried to turn your family upside down. Someone mistook themselves for you. Page of Pentacles. A child here in the material. The tiny body. The soul that we pray for. The bit of evidence. The bit of evidence that caught this person up. The bit of evidence that caught this group up. First, this person who can't get away, who's not going to walk from this. They're not going to walk. They have a body. This person's not going to walk. And it might be the poor little tiny body. Heaven forbid this individual was involved in that dark of stuff. They were out here willing to lie, cheat, steal, and kill, perhaps even children or a child or a baby, as we've been seeing in these other messages. Someone who is a KILLER, someone who is a child KILLER, someone who is worse and worse and worse, charges added on to MURDER. There's levels to this. How depraved did this individual get? How depraved did this group get? They're not walking from this. The evidence, even though it's small, it can be mighty. Small things can be mighty. Oh, man. Small things can be very mighty. And also, this speaks to the fact that it only takes one thing to catch someone up. The criminal has to be right all the time. The criminal can never be wrong. Meanwhile, the person investigating the criminal only has to find the right piece of evidence to unravel the case one time. They can be right only one time, and the case can be solved. The tiniest bit of evidence, the tiny little blessed body whose soul might have chosen to come here in order to endure and then be found, as is the tiny little purposeful life that this individual led. They are blessed. Even in their small time, they are blessed. Much like you, collective. You could have been evidently blessed since childhood. You know, this group or these people, if they're your family, they could have targeted you since childhood. There's some serious business going on here in regards to judgment, children, and the behaviors and the decisions being made around all of that. Situations involving children. It's awful, but it happened, and the events surrounding the reality of what happened to these poor tiny little souls needs to be known. Their names will be known, not as victims. No, that's not their purpose, is to be a tiny victim. Their purpose is to put these people away. The tiniest little bit of evidence, their purpose is to put this whole group away. This whole group of serial KILLERs will be put away by the tiniest little bit of evidence. So whoever family it is who is attached to this tiny little bit of evidence, let your heart and your soul have a little bit of solace in that knowledge. That their tiny life, how short it was blessed. This tiny bit of evidence will bring down this entire group. All it takes is for the investigator, all it takes is for the good guys, all it takes is for the good guys with badges is to be right one time. They can be wrong as many times as they need to be until they get to being right. That's how blessed their divine path is. Because they're on their divine path, not going with the crowd who are in the pockets of individuals who are okay or who are taking money from or who are directly involved with harming children, for God's sakes. The real power. Found within, right? Everybody else is under judgment. Individuals' hearts have already been weighed. Judgment comes for one, judgment comes for us all. Can we have closing messages for the collective about this, please? What does the collective need to know about this whole situation? Can we have the Four of Cups on its side? Yeah. So there were some missed opportunities. There were some opportunities where these bad guys could have been put away before. Okay? There was a lot of lack of gratitude for what is good in life. There was a lot of lack of gratitude for you, collective. Okay? There was a lot of lack of gratitude for the Lord. The evil thinks itself very great, you know. The evil has a God complex. The evil thinks that they, you know, missed an opportunity to harm whenever their plans don't, you know, go. Like, they'll blame the victim, and then they act like they're gonna get revenge for their own plans failing when their intent, their plans was to harm. Make it make sense. They're that degraded. It's like they're not even human anymore. Once they give over to whatever energy it was that promised them whatever nasty little bits that they got together after performing heinous acts involving children or babies, it's like they're not even human anymore. There's also this sort of healing energy here. So collective, I think you have gone through long periods in your life, or extended periods in your life, or marked periods in your life where you felt or you knew that there was just this great lack of gratitude for you, for what you bring to the table, for years of work or service. This could even be like, you know, a business that you worked at. I mean, they could have just thrown you away. They could have, you know, lied, cheated, and stolen from you. I mean, you know, you could have been cheated out of everything, and then they threw you away like so much trash. You know, you know, they told you it was gonna be one way. You give your whole life to a company, then they just discard you like you're nothing. Or perhaps you were in a relationship with someone, a long-term relationship or a marriage, and upon the dissolution of the marriage, you know, the individual just threw you away like trash. That's what I'm getting. There was this situation, this period, and it was maybe a repeated offense. People around you, your family, your friends, your significant relationships, your business partners, your business relationships, work colleagues, and you know, they just thought that they could take advantage of you. They didn't appreciate you. They expected of you, but then they gave nothing in return. It's this very narcissistic, very egotistical energy, you know. So there's also this healing from that, okay, collective, because you yourself, you will heal, or you will have healed from situations where people didn't exhibit gratitude for you. When someone does exhibit gratitude for you, you make the decision to show that gratitude for yourself. You know, the Five of Cups is the depressive state that you sort of sit in. You're feeling your feelings, they're valid. You allow them to move through you. You feel how you want to feel for the length of time that you're going to feel it. And then eventually you start to pay attention to something that makes you feel better. A lot of times it's nostalgic feelings welling up from within, memories of childhood or whatever it was that made you happy before. Clinging to things that make you happy, they bring you out of depressive states. This is something that's widely known. So these healing phases, they're just as natural, you know, the middle ground, you know. It's natural to experience highs and lows in life. So if you've experienced a lot of, you know, lack of gratitude in your life from the people, the places, the situations, the energies surrounding you, even perhaps from childhood, especially if you were, you know, the victim of individuals here, or the target of individuals who have victimized others, or a combination of that, there's going to be healing periods. You know, you got to give yourself the time. The hermit also speaks of healing, this isolation, this introspection. This is the healing, being alone, healing alone, healing, not sitting around licking your wounds like in the Four of Cups. This is sitting around licking your wounds. The Hermit is healing, but being on a healing journey. The energy is moving through you. It's a healing journey. You're on the path. You're walking the path. You're healing. You're on this spiritual journey. Part of the spiritual journey that you're on right now might be a healing phase. It's okay to heal from things. It's okay to feel however you feel about whatever happened to you. Just as long as you don't cling to things that won't allow you to continue along your spiritual path in the direction that you feel is fit, or that you have been, given directive to go. This is all on you. It's all on you. You're doing this alone. You've been doing this alone. You do this alone. 9 of Wands. This individual is alone. Page of Pentacles. Only child. The Star. Used since birth. Used as a source of energy, as a source of fuel. Used, but not appreciated. Much like humans here on Earth, if we woke up tomorrow and the sun never came up, how in woe would we be for all the times that we didn't appreciate when we had sun, just as yesterday? Tomorrow never comes, right? Well, what if that day does come? What if the day that the sun does not rise comes? What if the day that the group here that was just using and abusing individuals, perhaps you, collective, the Star here, collective, Star, collective, Aquarian energies, healer, you're naturally healing, you're naturally replenish yourself. This is giving well energy. I've said it before, they didn't know what they were dealing with. They didn't know what kind of star you were. They took advantage. They didn't appreciate. They had a great marked lack of gratitude. So one day you vacated this central position that they put you in, not to exalt you, but to enslave you and entrap you. You vacated this. And you did it gracefully. You were like, poof, peace, I'm out. You didn't blow up the spot. They're not all DEAD. No. You didn't implode either. You didn't turn on yourself. You showed yourself love. You healed. You are healing. You could be in a healing moment of your spiritual journey. It's natural. It's fine. You're the Star. Do what you want, Star. You're the Star. So once you vacated that spot in a healthy, graceful manner, they began to spiral, They were no longer orbiting you. They were orbiting a void that was left, shoes that were not able to be filled. They should have known that this day would come. If they have been targeting you since you were a child, they knew what you were since you were a child. They knew what you were since you were a child. But they underestimated you. They thought they knew you because they knew things about you that you didn't know about yourself. But they forgot about God. They thought themselves God. Stupid. Okay. I'm gonna leave it on that, collective. Till next time. Bye.